Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, depending where you are. So it's a pleasure to host this webinar where we discuss what is a climate professional. So the idea of this webinar first is to celebrate that this year we are going to host again the Day of Climate Professional. So then save the date, 22nd of November. We are going to host again this event that last year was really interesting. We host more than 70 activities with 100 partners all over the world, and it was really interesting to have this day to celebrate who is in the front line to tackle climate change, but also to discuss like what that means, what means being a climate professional. So but even after the Day of Climate Professional, even after have discussed so much the diversity of what that means, so we still keep having people asking us what it means being a climate professional. So then to launch the Day of Climate Professional of 2021, and to give you a little bit of a taste on how it's going to be. So we are doing this webinar today to keep it discussing and maybe trying to answer what that means. So sometimes I'm used to say being a climate professional is have a job that your parents are never going to understand what is that. But in another hand, is also so help us to do this transition to a carbon neutral society in a way that we include everyone, like with justice, with equality, and that's why we are today here with a very inspired group of speakers. We have Dana Espinosa from Mexico. She's really engaged with youth development project. She was like a focal point from the YUNGO, that the constituency of young people in the United Nations climate change framework. And we have, and among many other stuff that she does, and but she's going to tell you all her experience. And we have Mohammed Habil Danakabu from Ghana. He's from Plant for the Plant Ghana, where he's really coordinating a very ambitious project to plant 10 million trees there in 25 years. So we are expecting to have with us Niveda RM from India. She's the founder of TrashCon. But she last time I talked with her, she was facing some problems at her family despite coronavirus. So I hope everything is well there. But if she's not with us today, so I hope we can have her in another opportunity. But I'm sure that with Danai and Muhammad, we are already really well covered with a great inspiration for us for this talk today. So then welcome. And I would like to start with Danai. So Dana, we know each other for a long time, and I'm really happy you are here with us today. So I know you are, since I know you, you are always engaged with preparing young people for the climate talks, also in multi-stakeholder level, also in the official negotiations at the United Nations. So always related with action, capacity building, education, so to guarantee that so everyone is included, right? When we are talking about climate negotiations and these transitions. So welcome, and please, can you tell us a little bit more about how you did that? How was your career path to be where you are right now, and what it means for you being a climate professional?
Yeah, thank you, Evelyn. And it's a pleasure to see you all here. And yeah, we met each other a long time ago by the Beijing. I think before Bogota. I think it was in Qatar, as far as I remember. So yeah, well, I'm from Mexico, and my professional career is internationalist, foreign affairs. And well, I started to think when I was on my career, when I was at college, I started to think how could I implement, or yeah, how could implement all the knowledge or part of the knowledge on environmental issues, on international relations, and as internationalists, many people dream to be part of United Nations. I could say that I was part of that people that I was like, yeah, United Nations, traveling or approaching with a lot of people, and also meeting people from around the globe and making changes, etc. But sometimes you see like not difficult but little far, because you have to work a lot to be there and try to find a way to reach your goals. um, but I didn't want to work like I don't know. For example, some people got these approaches about how to work as internationalist in the governmental arena, and in my case, I decided to do it from civil society, because civil society has the power to make root changes. We have a civil society when we are organized. We have great ideas and great projects that continuously are impacting the public policies and also the territories, no matter if it is a collective or something that is not like registered in as an NGO. But the people could make a change. The citizens can make changes. So that's why I said, okay, I will start in civil society process as internationalist, putting my knowledge in internationalist. As internationalist on, by the way, in foreign markets and also in business. So I said, yeah, but I don't want to work in this. My approach, my goal was entirely environment or climate change. So the first step to do this was to develop a project, independent project, for to work with the schools. By the way, with one secondary school. It's like the high school here. It's a kind of midterm in between secondary school and high school, but well, you can say it as high school. And to put them in contact and collaboration and to co-create something fantastic with a rural school, primary school, children, of course, to empower them and also to co-create something fantastic about sustainable development and how climate change is impacting the cities and also the schools in the cities, and what's the difference of the impacts of climate change in rural areas through education. So we developed this process, and we won a contest to go to COP17 in South Africa. Given this project was awesome. In fact, we were working with the community 2 years, and the results were amazing because the parents of the children in the rural area and also in the rural community, sorry, and also the parents in the school based in the city, they were very, very collaborative with us, and they were sharing knowledge about their different perspectives about their kids, the education, the impacts of climate change and sustainable development in their own houses or in their communities. Was fantastic. So, well, we won the contest to go to COP17, and well, that was a chapter for me, was a very important chapter in my life, because in that process where I was so young, and also I was kind of I didn't have I had the base, as internationalists, we got the knowledge about how the United Nations work and how to make decisions and other kind of knowledge as internationalists. But when you are there, you see that, yes, you have a part of that knowledge, a part of that preparation. And it was a kind of explosion there in COP17 for me to say, I want this, but this is different. It's totally different from my university or the things that I learned at college. So it was amazing, and yeah, I decided to be more to be a professional on climate change, given this arena in given this opportunity and this fantastic phase of my life, a stage in my life to be in COP17. So I decided that, and then, well, right now I think that was part of the path where I am right now. And yeah, and then in Colombia was very interesting in 2013 to create the Latin American and Caribbean Youth Climate Movement. Really was amazing to see and to meet a lot of young people with the same interest and with the same passion and commitment about climate change, and mainly in the Latin American region, because climate change, it's important for everyone, but in the sense of organization, the European Union, also Asia, Africa also, they are more organized, or they were more organized in that moment. In the youth arena, they were more organized than us. I could see that in COP17 and also in Qatar in COP18. I could see that they were more organized, but not much people from Latin America were attending these meetings, and a lot of work were made here in Latin America. So what was happening in this international arena? Why the Latin American youth was not there participating, was not there in side events, was not there negotiating, or well, not negotiating, but I mean impacting or talking or lobbying with the negotiators. Something was happening. So in Colombia, it was amazing to see that the 45, I think we were 45 people there. We were very committed to create something. And well, the Latin American and the climate, the Latin American and Caribbean Youth Climate Movement was created. So we were working right now. I think this year we are 8 years in September. So it's fantastic. And we were, I mean, we started to say, okay, what is our main focus on international negotiations, what we want. And I think was amazing to see in the round on the corner the COP20 in Peru. That was Latin America. So was a nice platform for the movement to work with Latin American youth, and also to empower these Latin American youth, also indigenous Latin American youth, to work with them so near during this COP20 process. And that was the space where Click says, okay, we will be the movement of Latin America. Many people know us, and also we are professionals in youth arenas on climate change. So this is the opportunity to work on citizen diplomacy from the youth on climate change. So we started to work on that. And we have been involved in the spaces of the United Nations framework of climate change entirely, because our work is focused on that, and also in the territories, and also in the communities, and also in the cities. So what we do is that the knowledge or the projects that you have in your organization, in your collective, personally, in your community, can nurture the process in the international negotiations of climate change. And then the work in this arena, in this international arena, could nurture your work in your territory, your community, or your organization. That's fantastic, because sometimes there is a kind of gap between what is said in the convention or in this international arena, and it has no coherence or coordination in the territories. So in youth, it's happening all the time. If it is happening in the governmental arena, or the private sector, or all the people working there in the convention, can you figure out how it is in the youth issues? It's completely, yes, of course, different, but it's happening, and it's so common, this phenomena. So we decided to do that, and yeah, we got nice projects in Latin America. The COP20 was the first one. Then to the road to the COP20 21st, we were working, by the way, here in Mexico with an international event, regional, an international event, and also a national event for Mexican youth here, to nurture the process in the international negotiations. And the work was there because given the work of the movement and other Latin American people, we could reach the goal to include in the preamble of the Paris Agreement intergenerational equity. So the knowledge of the youth was there, lobbying with the negotiators, and and the people in Click was there all 24 hours, trying to move forward on this matter. Unfortunately, through Jungo also, we could reach that goal to put intergenerational equity that englobes youth and other generations, of course. So our work has been there. And from 2016 to 2000 to nowadays, by the way, we were working on action for climate empowerment, that is about education, and it's about public access to information, and it's about public participation, and also education. So it has been amazing, because as Click, we could work in 2018 to put this knowledge again from the territories, from the organizations, from the youth, on the negotiation process. So our work as Click was there as civil society, because none of us was working with the government, by the way. But we got the opportunity in this arena to talk with them and to lobby with them. And they took in count, given our story as a movement, our approaches. Unfortunately, Action for Climate Empowerment is there, and also Jungo had a a great role on this arena also. So the youth were moving forward on Action for Climate Empowerment, and well, we were working as Latin American region there. And yeah, it's a real challenge as a youth to work on these areas, because you have to trying to find a way how to make this lobby. Because all the time the youth is saying, I would like to be heard, but these days, and given the climate emergency, is not enough. How can you move forward to put your work on the praxis, and that your work could be nurturing this complex and sometimes difficult process of climate change? And well, it's providing capacity. For example, we as professionals right now, on climate professionals, that we started as a youth. I started as youth professional, and then, well, I'm young people, but not younger as I was. But I mean, the good thing that we can do is that we can share this knowledge with the new generation, because this is the intergenerational approach. You can share this information, you can provide this capacity to the new generations, and they could have more tools to improve their work and to get more capacity, because everyone has the capacity. We have to polish just that, or they have to polish that capacity to improve the work and to get results about climate change in the public policy in this international arena. So yeah, our function, or my function right now, mostly is as an advisor for some people and for young people, and I'm very grateful for this kind of invitations, because we can share this knowledge or these experiences about climate change. So for Latin America, it's we got the Escazú Agreement. It's about climate justice and access to information and public participation on environmental issues, and climate change is included on that. So we have, as a Latin American region, a great legislative tool to start to work on this complex process about climate change and environmental issues, because many people are dying here because they are protecting their territories. And some young people right now, they are becoming protectors of these areas. So how can we ensure that these young people could be entirely safe to keep protecting their territories, indigenous territories, cities, rural areas, everywhere? We have to be sure that these young people has the resources, the tools, and the protection, and the protection to keep doing their job and protecting the land, and obviously protecting the nature, and it also is linked with the rights of nature. So yeah, it's amazing to share with you part of the story of that. I tried to resume in my head part of the path that I was working with a lot of people on. Yeah, I don't know what else to say or to share, but yeah, that's part of the story of this.
Thank you, Dana, to share with us your journey. That is really inspiring, and I think it's an example on show how circular it is, right? So how we go from the global to the local, and also how we needed to engage different actors of the society, right? So, but in the
Mm-hmm.
end, how it's important we prepare the civil society to implement all of that, right? And I'm already so for the audience for who is watching us, so you can put your questions already in the chat. So in the end, after all the presentations, we are going to have a Q&A session. But I already would like to ask you, Dana, if you can answer us quickly, that because I like you said you started working with a school, because at YCL we are identifying the importance of the schools and how it's really a start, like to engage the society since the beginning. But also what we are facing is the challenge that many teachers at the schools, they say they are not capacitated to teach or to talk about that at school. And if you face that too, and if you, what is your opinion about the role and the importance of prepare educators, for example, in the school, in the formal education, to work with this topic?
Yeah, I think it's quite important. For example, with this program, Action for Climate Empowerment, many academics or teachers in university, mainly at college, they are like interest. They got interest about this program, for example. The issue is that mainly these academics or these professors, teachers are from global north countries. So I think one of the barriers is the language, because many of the information, the literacy of this program is in English, of course, as many of the negotiation process or international projects. But how to get this access on how to get this access in another languages, it's important to see that, to how to work to translate this information to the ground, to the teachers in secondary, primary schools, etc. So I think to prepare, for example, I would like to talk about the example of Mexico. Um, Mexico has a good system of education. The issue is that sometimes the education policies are not like updated with the new information about environmental issues, and it's necessary to do that. Also, it's necessary to capacity the teachers, to provide capacity to the teachers on climate change, because in Mexico we have programs, we have also books, we have from the Ministry, for example, of the Environment of the National Institute of Ecology and Climate Change. They were developing tools for teachers and for everyone on climate education and environmental education. But something happens on the educative structure, I mean, in the communication between the schools and the ministries, that the information is not updated, and so the result is that the teachers has no this new knowledge or these new tools to implement in the schools, in the classrooms. So I think we have to try to find a way through these kind of programs, in this case, Action for Climate Empowerment, that is aligned with the current programs, to try to move forward, to be organized with the teachers. It's a massive process, because even part of the environmental knowledge has, I think, it's has been made around 20 years, something like that. And right now we are from the, yeah, 2000 something. I don't remember what was the year, but it's necessary to update the information to provide this capacity to the teachers, and also to share, no matter if you are a teacher or not, in this case civil society or even the ministries, to provide and to co-create with them these capacities and this new knowledge, because I think we are right now in a stage that we need a revolution of how to do the things. We cannot just wait to be like, I don't know, to be just watchers of the things and do nothing. So the teachers are something like that. They most of the time are like, yeah, the system is providing this and is providing that, but how we can work as a teachers with them. So that's important, the co-creation. So to resume, this is first to update the plans, the national plans on education about climate change and the importance of climate education, because environmental education, it's like the mother of the climate education, but climate education is also important and is linked with the environmental education. Then to co-create with the teachers, and no matter in the where the teachers are, college, primary schools, kindergarten, etc., to co-create this new knowledge with the knowledge that previously they have, and obviously their passion and their capacity as docents on this. And then how the impact of the education could maybe I mean how the education could be impacting these international processes with results, and then again how the international process could impact in a positive way at national and also at local level education, and also the teachers. So the providing capacity with new information to the teachers is, it's so important. So yeah, we have the tools. I think every country has the tools, but we have to try to find the way how to do it with the things that we already have, to not to duplicate the efforts, but yes, to update these efforts. So I think these are my thoughts. And sometimes I have some difficulties to speak because my brackets. So it's like, oh, I have the pain. But yeah, I try to put my ideas as clear as I
It's
yes.
really nice.
So
Thank
those
you.
are my thoughts about it.
Thank you so much, Dana. So yeah, then for sure we are going to talk more later. So when we open for the Q&A, but now, so I really would like to invite, so to go to Ghana. So we go from Mexico to Ghana, and it's really nice the diversity of regions we can have here today. Let's go to Ghana to talk with Mohammed, that is leading like a really challenging reforestation project there, Plant for Ghana, that is connected with Plant for the Planet, which is also related with climate education. So it's really nice how like it's not just planting trees, but also capacity building for children. So to inherit this challenge that is the climate crisis. So Mohammed, thanks so much to join us today. And please tell us a little bit how is your journey, like how you started your work with Plant for the Planet, and how are your plans, and why are you a climate professional?
Thank you so much, Evelyn, and good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on which part of the world you are joining us. Evelyn, it has been a very long journey for me, both with Plan for the Planet and also as a climate justice ambassador. Originally, like with Plan for the Planet, actually it's all started through this academies that we organize, and eventually I became a global justice ambassador through Plan for the Planet, and then having to grow through this structures of Plan for the Planet, and then eventually we are actually executing this amazing project. So, like I said, this ranges from the year 2012 that I got to hear about Plan for the Planet and their activities, and already I was already doing some few environmental activities in Ghana at that time, and having heard of Plan for the Planet engaging with young people around the world, and I felt like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to grow as a person and also engage with other young people around the world, and listen to success stories, and then also learn lessons, and what could help me in terms of my work and in terms of our journey in Ghana in climate fight. So, like I said, originally it's through an academy, which this is a day workshop where young people are actually trained on climate change issues, and then at the end of the day, these young people are empowered with all ideas and knowledge, which at the end of the day make them climate justice ambassadors to work on their own. Which I think this idea is from Felix, where he believes that now the young people have to take the future into their own hands, and then not to trust the adults anymore. So upon hearing this, I got really inspired, and I felt like, okay, really young people can do something about their own future. So having been a global justice ambassador, and fortunately at that time, Plan for the Planet was actually advertising for the Global Youth Board and then the Children's Youth Board, which eventually I contested as the youth board member for Sub-Saharan Africa, actually, in that year, where successfully I went through all the processes, and then elections were conducted, and then eventually I won as a board member for the Sub-Saharan Africa, which among the members of the board, a position for the president and then the vice president was actually opened. And then I went for it, I applied, and then eventually sailed through the whole processes and contested for this president position of the board, which eventually I won as the board president for the youth board. Actually, we have the youth board and the children's board, which both have their own president. So I was fortunate to be the youth board president for this particular year, that is 2013 2014 year. So through that period, I had the opportunity to attend COP19 in Poland, where I familiarized myself with the UN processes, and the climate change negotiations with UN, and also having to meet amazing young people around the world, which really inspired me going forward to continue my work in climate change. So originally, I started as an ambassador, and having grown through the steps and becoming a president of the board, and eventually um, becoming a program coordinator. Actually, that is years later, which basically was my the duty was for me to train young people like myself and then younger than me in terms of climate change, actually taking them through the models that Plan for the Planet has put together to equip them as climate justice ambassadors. So amazingly, we've trained over thousands of children in Ghana, actually, especially the northern part of Ghana, where the effects of climate change is really severe, and then it's visible and so glaring. And so, together with colleagues and other people that are interested in climate change, we trained these young people, um, about thousands of them, like I said. Going forward, other people joined as program coordinators and also worked with Plan for the Planet. And then we organized these programs together, and eventually growing in our climate justice work, we eventually founded the Ghana office of National Plan for the Planet, that is Plan for the Planet Ghana. And having thought of all the issues and climate change crisis effects in Ghana, especially the northern part where I come from, I felt like, okay, except the fact that we can train children and young people to fight for this climate, what again can we do in terms of our climate fight? So we realized that trees, as we all know, it's one of the important aspect of climate change fight for us. We believe that planting a lot of trees would, of course, absorb the how do you call it, the climate, the carbon emissions in the atmosphere, of course. So this is the idea of Plant for the Planet, where they already have the Mexican project, which is already going on amazingly. So we, having to learn from this Mexican project, also founded the Plant for Ghana, which is the project in Ghana currently, which of course it's what we are all happily working on at the moment. And the goal is actually to plant 10 million trees in Ghana in 25 years, which the journey has already started, which we believe that every big goal would definitely have to start with a step. Eventually, we've done all the groundworks and we've done all what we're supposed to do in terms of paperwork and everything. And the project at the moment, it's running. So I would want to share some few updates on the project. Eventually, we'll be planting 25,000 trees in July in our in the reforestation area in the Savannah region of Ghana, where this particular village is one of the remote areas in Ghana. So one important thing for me about this whole climate change work and all that back and forth is the fact that we, as climate change, we young people in terms of Plan for the Planet Ghana would have to call ourselves climate professionals, because having to come from a different background and then grow in the steps in the stages of climate work and having to get to this stage where we are managing a reforestation project, I feel we cannot be called anything less than a climate professional. So, like, of course, the project would quickly start in July, where we would be planting 25,000 seedlings already, which are already doing well in the nurseries. So this project, aside all the benefits, which we all know, the fact that it would clean the air around this place and also absorb the additional carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, would also create green jobs for people, young people, of course, around this place. And amazingly, at the moment, we have 11 people working on this project, whom are on constant income from Plan for the Planet Ghana. At the end of the day, at the end of the month, they receive their salaries and as a source of income. Originally, most of these people around this place are basically farmers, and not the irrigation type, but then the rain fed. So it's pathetic to know that at the end of the day, these people would just depend on the rain for their farms, and then after the rains end and then the farming season ends, they don't eventually have anything to do. And again, the fact that they depend on the rains actually have been affected by the effects of climate change, which of course in some particular year could be drought, and in other times too it could be flood that comes to destroy their farmland. So having to engage these young people, of course 11 of them, giving them a secure job in tree planting, it's actually something I'm happy with. And also the other models of this project would want to see us training women who in beekeeping, whom at the end of the day would be given parts of this forest to raise beehives, and then also get other additional income from the beekeeping as well. So that is another model of this project. We would, of course, train these women in terms of the beekeeping, everything they need to know about beekeeping, and also at the end of the day, they would earn good income to support themselves and their families. So basically, this has been the story for me, having to rise from a climate justice ambassador to a program coordinator, and currently the executive director for Plan for the Planet Ghana. And I'm happy to be managing this ambitious project, which seeks to plant 10 million trees as the goal in 25 years. And of course, we've already started, and the nurseries are growing so well, and we would of course start to reforest in July to July this year with 25,000 seedlings. I think that is the story with me actually.
Nice, really nice. Thank you so much, Mohammed. It's really inspiring, and to see like in 1 year you already managed to create 11 new jobs in Ghana. And so I'm wondering, to plant 10 million trees, how many jobs you are like think you are going to create, right? So and that And that's interesting. And then why we don't have questions from the audience? I have one question that I want to put for you both, because one, so through YCL we have the YCL network with the fellows. So we already, like, you promoted capacity building for 500 fellows. So, and it's growing quite fast, this network. But every time then we talk with them about climate careers, they normally, they have this idea that to be a climate professional they needed to have a bachelor degree, a master, sometimes a PhD, speaking many languages, to then have one opportunity. So but from what hearing you, so I have the idea it's less about like the education. Of course it's also about the education, but more about the network and all the support you have, like, behind you. Like Mohammed said, he's since for almost 10 years in this network of Plan for the Planet that in some way led him to be where he were right now, like leading the Plan for the Planet in Ghana. Danai too also had all this network since they work at schools, and then so winning this award, going to South Africa, and then having all the opportunities you had. So in your opinion, what are the really strong and necessary skills to be a climate professional? Is that about like have a high education, or it's more about have a network, or both?
Mm, from my perspective, I think are both, you know. But I think even this kind of branding, because sometimes this I mean, this branding that you have 2 or 3 masters and that you speak 3 or 4 languages, sometimes in some arena it's like something just like a branding, and you are not you. I mean, you are you, but some people see just these titles, but they don't see the capacity of the people, they don't see all the knowledge that they have behind. They don't see also all the support that you mentioned before. So how these skills or how these capacities and all these opportunities you can put it in service from yourself, of course, for yourself, and also for the community. I think nowadays the most important thing is to work also in community. So all this knowledge you can share. I think also we can share these days all the opportunities and all the capacities that we have, because networking is also important, but that good networking is also to share and develop new knowledge, because sometimes, I mean, you have the contact of someone or something, and some people don't share that information because all the time it's like that, well, this is mine, this is just mine, I have been moving forward and I have been working so hard to be where I am. And yeah, it's so valuable and it's important that, but I mean, it's just for you, and you can share this information with everyone else, because they can use it also as a great tool to improve their own knowledge, and also to share it, because at the end of the day we are in a community. So from my perspective are both. And other important thing to for a climate professional is that have the support of this community, because sometimes to work on climate change is a little frustrating, and in the platform, mainly in the international arena, I think at the national level is also frustrating. But when you are in this international arena and you have this global perspective, sometimes it's so frustrating. So you have to have the support of this. And the professional support is important, but the professional support cannot bring you this even emotional support, this community support, to know that you are not alone, because sometimes it's so frustrating. Even it's right now, some people and also me, we are trying to see how can we work more on climate change, mental health, for example. And for the youth, it's so important to do that. You can have the degrees, etc., but what happens if you don't have this community, this work, or your family, or your friends, or your beloved ones supporting you on this work, and that help you also to create community, and also to have a healthy and a healthy environment, and mental and healthy mental environment. I was mixing this to face these challenges. So yes, are both, but the community is so powerful. So yeah, you can study your master, and education is so important, but the community is also important. Not being alone of this on this work. Yeah, about it. And don't lose the passion, really. The passion is so important, and the commitment.
Amazing. And how about you, Mohammed? What do you think are the important skills and tools to be a climate professional?
Well, for me, I would definitely go for the network because myself, I don't really have any degree in climate change, basically from the accounting background. But then with the network of Plan for the Planet, I call myself a climate professional because at the end of the day, it's about the impact that we can, of course, make to these communities that we are working with. You can have the degrees, you can have the masters, but then if you're not able to make an impact in this particular field, I don't think you deserve to be called a climate professional. But then you can have whatever background you come from, but then the passion and also the network, which of course, to me, it's very important that has actually brought me this far. So I think to me, I would go with the network, which is of course very important to me.
Totally, totally agree. And yes, and I think that's the idea to show the climate professional is not a high level education, people that got a high level education, but actually, so last week we host a similar webinar like this, but in Brazil, in Portuguese for the Brazilian audience. And we have one guest that is told that what about the indigenous people? They are maybe the first climate professionals, right? Like in the grassroots. So maybe and another speaker also told us actually if you think deeper, so everyone uh, is a climate professional, and the difference if it's working for good or for the bad of climate. So that's the division. And actually, yes, so I'm quite sure the 11 people that Mohammed hired to plant trees in Ghana, they are climate professionals, right? So, and we have another question here from Fernanda, that she wants to know who are the leaders that are inspiring your career, which is really important, right? I think all of us, we really, as Danai said, it's not an easy topic to work. Sometimes it really goes down. It's like it creates anxieties, insecurities, and then who are inspiring you to keep doing your work?
Mohammed, if you want to go first this time.
Ladies first, then
Okay, thank you. um, Honestly, I mean, I think the person who inspired uh, on these issues was my mom. Honestly, was my mother. My mother was teacher, by the way, and her vocation was so inspiring to me because she was so passionate about how to teach children and adolescents, well, teenagers. And I was really amazed about her work because all the results and the projects that she developed with her students at the level at the secondary level were amazing. She was a foreign language teacher, by the way. She was an English teacher, but she also made her classes and her program in a holistic way. She was not. It was yes of my mom, but I could say that she was not the traditional teacher that is just teaching grammatic and yeah, you should go to the book and read this and yeah, ABC. No, no, no. She also challenged her students to go to speak with foreign people in the city, to make interviews, for example, and to talk about different topics, environmental topics, economics, and mathematics, and everything about that, because she also teached me that the praxis, you can have all this knowledge, but if you don't do the praxis, all this knowledge could be lost. And also, I learned from her about the coherence of this. That if you have this opportunity, for example, to get a master, how can you share this knowledge with the people that are in secondary schools, that are in another community like indigenous peoples. How you both can share the indigenous people knowledge with this master knowledge and co-create something fantastic to improve the community and to make a better community or a better world or a better school with all this knowledge, because it's important to be coherent also and to have principles. Yeah, so I learned a lot from her, and I think that's why also I see the importance of education, because since I was born, I was born with someone who was entirely in education process. And yeah, I think my mom was my inspiration, my first inspiration to do the thing that I do.
Yes. So honestly, for me, it hasn't been a particular individual from the beginning, because it's so sad for me to see the poor farmer having to suffer and go through all the climate change effects, from flood to drought and everything, and having to grow in this particular community or in this particular area. I felt like, okay, this is we have to do something, and this is my source of inspiration. Having to see a result or solution for this particular farmers, um, to be able to contribute what I can do to help their situations. So this has been my source of motivation, my source of inspiration in the beginning. But if we have to talk about individuals, of course, I go with Felix, because having to watch his videos even before joining Plan for the Planet, of course, it's so inspiring to see a young person leading this particular agenda of having to plant trillion trees is so amazing. And I feel this is what we need. We actually need not only the adults, but of course, young people can also do something. And also eventually narrowing down to Mother of Trees, of course, Wangari Maathai. These are the my source of inspiration, actually. But the beginning, of course, it's through what I see from where I grew up from. Of course, the floods, yearly floods, of course, and then the drought. I shared a link, Evelyn, if you would want to look at a direct video from this flood situations in where actually I come from. Is so devastating, and anybody who is concerned about humanity, of course, would take this as a passion and would be inspired to do something from the situations in this video.
Nice. Thank you, Mohammed. So I share in the chat now here the link for who wants to watch it. But in some ways, also we see the power of the communication, right? And how the professionals of communication also can be climate professionals. So recently in the YCL course, we had a class just about communication, how to communicate climate change, because it's a way like to inspire people and where we can find some inspiration, right? So we are almost running over with your time because it's go really fast. So when we are with inspiring people, so and then I would like just to open if you have some ending remarks and some tips or tricks that you would like to give for the young people watching you all on how they could get involved.
Okay, Dana, you want me to go this time around? Right. So for me, what I would want to share with everybody is the fact that sometimes it's not about thinking of the future. Of course, we all want to achieve one thing or the other, but then we at a point forget about ourselves. And when I say forget about ourselves, which is the most important thing here, it's for us to survive before we'll be able to achieve whatever goals we want to achieve. So if we forget about surviving, then of course, eventually we would not even survive to achieve the goals we are so ambitious about. And from this, I think we all have to join hands. And climate action is not for the elite, or it's not for the educated, or it's not for the people in the business class or the people in the academia, but then everybody can of course join this particular action in terms of fighting for the climate and making things right with the climate, like we are doing, of course, with tree planting. Of course, it doesn't has to take any class of person to be able to plant trees. Eventually, everybody can plant trees, which of course has a very strong importance in the climate fight. So, if you don't mind, Evelyn, I'll just want to share a little bit about the Plan for the Planet app, which is so amazing. And it's all boils down from the idea of the trillion tree. Of course, Plan for the Planet feels like at the end of the day, to plant trillion trees, of course, it cannot be done with only Plan for the Planet. So we developed this app where tree planting organizations can onboard. And of course, we believe some people are so busy that they don't want to get their hands dirty with sand or soil in terms of tree planting. And others might not even have the lands to plant these trees. So having developed this app, we've thought of everybody whom might want to plant trees, but then because of one or two situations they can't. So feel free to go on this app, and then you can of course choose from hundreds of tree planting organizations around the world, and donate to, and of course these trees will be planted. And the amazing thing is you can of course track these trees as they are being planted for you. And of course the transparency level of this app, it's so great that you'll be able to have a fair idea of where these trees are planted in your name, and what species have been planted, and how the trees are growing, of course. And there are other aspects of the app where you can engage other colleagues or family members in terms of competition to see who plants more trees. And it's so fun. It's not always only the donating aspect, but then you can also look at it of having to donate trees to somebody on their birthday, on an anniversary or something, instead of having to take the person to an eatery, but then you can donate and create a forest in the name of this person. And I think they'll be proud of you. So the motivation, of course, should come from the fact that we all want to survive and achieve our individual goals. And at the end of the day, this is us here, and then we have to do what we can do. And of course, the tree planting. And of course, I would invite you to donate to the Plan for Ghana project. Of course, we are doing this amazing work in Ghana by planting 10 million trees. Of course, we would need the support of individuals, everybody, to come on board and make this a reality for us. Thank you.
And from my side is, well, the message is that really, again, I will be very, very persistent on this. Really, education is, everything. And everyone can educate people, because education is about sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, and everyone can learn from each other. I right now, for example, I learn from Rabio, I learn from Evelyn, and I hope you could learn something from my side. And also, when you are with communities, and when you are in these international processes, and also when you are speaking with the governmental arena, and the social arena, and the rural arena, you are sharing experiences, and you are educating yourself, and also you are educating others. So, talking about formal education, I think the formal education needs to be updated again, mainly on climate change issues, and also to nurture this process with a non-formal education, because non-formal education, it's amazing all the time. A lot of initiatives, a lot of projects, civil society organized, and also people in their communities are organizing and developing knowledge, and also that it's education. So yeah, I understand that sometimes it's frustrating not to see maybe all the things that a group do, and just to see a word. I'm talking about international process, to see just one word there in the negotiation, but you could provide, and you make this reality, because your work was part of the process. So yeah, I really believe that education is so important on climate change, and I really really make a call that to stop to see education as something boring or something that is just in the schools. The education is also in your family. Education and sharing knowledge is in your community. Education and sharing knowledge is with your friends, with your beloved ones. So yeah, education is it's everything. And I would like to emphasize the importance of this intergenerational knowledge. I was meditating about this with a friend, I think 1 or 2 months ago, about, this is the first time that the baby boomers, the Generation X, the millennials, and the centennials are in the same century, for the first time. So this is amazing because you can share and you can learn from these generations. So something fantastic could happen. We know that, yes, the humanity at some point made wrong decisions, because that's the reality. But are we just seeing the bad things, or we would like to be focused also in the good things? So we have to rescue also, for example, these kind of principles about friendship, and about friendship, about honesty, and about coherence from the other generations, and how to implement these good things on our reality, and how they can learn from us, no matter in the age that they have, because right now everyone is like, yes, the youth is the future. Wait. Yes, but are you in the present? It's like you are putting all the responsibility in the youth all the time. Yes, you are going to save us. You are the future. You are this, you are that. Yes. But what about this collaboration, this co-creation of knowledge, to have a better present and to build a better present, to have another future, not for the young people, for everyone, even for the species, even for the ecosystems, because we are sharing with another species and ecosystems this planet. So we have to take that in mind. So that's why intergenerational equity is so important, and that's why education is important for that, from my perspective.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dana and Mohammed. It was really nice to talk with you today. I already extend the invitation for you be with us also on 22nd of November, in the Day of Climate Professional. Soon we are updating more information about the event in our website, in the website of YCL. Meanwhile, save the date, 22nd of November. So in our website, you can see already the activities of last year to have an idea and inspiration. So we have webinars, workshops, and counseling and video sessions. So, and the idea this year is to keep doing that. So under the topic, the future of work in a zero carbon society. So it's going to be really interesting. And I hope to have all of you there. So thank you so much. Stay safe. And I hope to see you in the Day of Climate Professional.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.